All right, hello and welcome to today's episode where I want to talk about mental compulsions and how really with mental compulsions it's these things that we engage in that we don't even realize we're engaging in that often keep us stuck in this loop. And so, whether you're dealing with OCD, anxiety, panic attacks, chronic pain, a lot of the behaviors that we engage in that really strengthen this loop are really just going on in our head. And usually we're not even aware that we're doing them. So, the goal of this episode is to really just bring some awareness to that. So before we dive in, if you are looking for help on your journey to recovery, I have some links down in the notes, or you can head over to restoredminds.com. We actually just released a new assessment on our homepage, so please check that out. And if you really benefit from this show and you like this content, please help us out by liking and subscribing and leaving a nice review, as it really helps us. So let's go ahead and dive in. So with mental compulsions, like I was saying, a lot of times we don't realize we're engaging in them. And let's really talk about why we engage in mental compulsions to begin with. So generally speaking, we have this initial experience, usually a feeling or sensation in the body when it comes to the stress and anxiety spectrum. So it could be a tightness in the chest, it could be a pit in the stomach, it could be an intrusive thought sometimes that pop up as a secondary to the feeling, and we notice this experience. What a mental compulsion is not the first internal experience, it's our immediate reaction to escape the experience and then go into the mind. Now this looks all sorts of it can manifest in all sorts of ways, right? So it could be a simple trying to thought block or thought suppress or thought replace, so to squash and get rid of the thought that we didn't want. Or it could be to, again, justify, analyze, rationalize, ruminate, the presence of the feeling or the presence of the thought. So, like, why did I have that thought? I wonder what's going on, and really trying to figure it out. And that attempt to go, really, that I should say, that behavior when we're attempting to explain the emotion is itself the safety behavior, because we're escaping what is and we're fleeing into the mind thinking that if we justify or if we figure it out that will make it go away, all the while communicating that this emotion is not safe, it's not supposed to be here, it's not welcome. So it's an act of suppression or repression if we're doing it unconsciously, and then avoiding the entire experience by just going and bringing our attention into the mind. So because of that, it perpetuates the loop. And this can really be happening all the time, right? You start feeling angry about a conversation that happened at work and you replay the conversation at work instead of just allowing yourself to feel angry and release that. Or you feel afraid when you wake up, and instead of just connecting with what you're feeling, you're running into the mind and trying to explain, justify the presence of everything, so on and so forth. So the quick escape from the body to the mind is really that gap that we really need to become aware of. Is, am I in my mind? And if I am in my mind, what am I trying to escape? Because that gap, the 18 inches from your heart to your head, right, is the gap that we need to close in order to really become aware of what is, which is really the presence of these feelings or even these intrusive thoughts that pop up automatically. And the escape from them is what leads to mental compulsions, and the mental compulsions can take on a variety of manifestations like I just mentioned. It can be silent prayer, it can be counting to distract yourself, it could be trying to remember something that you want to, forcing a memory of something you want to think about, all of an attempt to really control this feeling or the presence of something you don't want to experience. So the safety behavior, yes, is the actual thing you're doing in your mind, but the reason you're doing it is because you're fleeing from an emotion. And I just really want to communicate that clearly, because a lot of times we think that we're doing this stuff to help ourselves, or we convince ourselves that that's what we're doing. In fact, I remember the first time I heard about like mental behaviors or mental safety behaviors, I was like, you mean to tell me like the very thing I think I'm doing to try to help myself is making me worse? It was like a profound epiphany for me. I was like, that's making me worse. And that's a very difficult thing to hear, because a lot of times you're like, well, I spend all my day doing that, right? And, that can be very disheartening. But awareness of it is what allows us to change it, right? And so while it may not be fun to hear this fact, addressing it is gonna be what allows you to ultimately change it, to break the loop, and ultimately, really break free from the grips of this. So with that, I just wanted to really shine light on that today. I know it's a very nuanced detail, but sometimes I like to make more nuanced episodes because they're the little details that really can sometimes make a huge difference in someone's life. So with that, I wish you all a great day and a great week, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Hey there, thanks so much for watching that episode. If you found it helpful, we have some links to some other episodes that we think you might like as well. And if you're looking for help on your journey to recovery from fear, stress, and anxiety, either check out the links in the notes or head over to restoredminds.com. Thank you, and talk to you soon.